Welcome to freshmind.com. My name is Eric and we are ready to add some transparency to our DVD drawer. Let's go back into GIMP. I've already got it open and I've got our texture and everything back in there. Alright, inside GIMP we want to create a texture that we can use to tell Maya where we want stuff transparent or where we don't want transparent. Alright, we're going to be working on this door here, so I'm going to zoom in this area. I'm just going to press and hold down the control button, and now I'm going to middle mouse drag in and out to zoom in and out of this. Alright, there we go. Just so I can work in this area a little bit better. The logo is going to be 0% transparent. We want it to look like it's been painted on there. All this area around this door, we want to be just barely transparent. And then this area inside is going to be not 100% transparent, but a lot more transparent than everything else. The way we're going to do that is by using colors. Black is going to be 100% transparent and white is going to be 0% transparent. Okay, since we don't want the logo to be transparent, it's already white, so that's really good for us. We can just leave it just like it is. All right, let's create a new layer. I'm going to call this layer transparent. Let's say 25. So 25% transparent. I'm going to click OK. Alright, I'm going to make sure that layer is selected. I'm going to change the color. Alright, 100% is not transparent. And as we go this value, it starts becoming more and more transparent. So I'm going to maybe do something about right there. So about 25% on this brightness scale. Click OK. Click on the paint tool. And now I'm just going to click in there. Alright, so that's exactly what I want, except I want the text to be on top. So I'm going to select this layer and click this button down here at the bottom to move it underneath our logo. Okay, now I want an area that's kind of in the center here that's maybe 50% transparent. So what I'm going to do that is I'm going to create a new layer. Let's call this transparent 50. Alright, I'm going to make sure that layer is selected. I'm going to go up here and click on this circle. I want to make sure that this mode is selected on the first one, which is to replace the current selection. I'm also going to expand from the center. That way we draw from the center and not from a corner of a circle. And I'm going to make it fixed. That way it stays a perfect circle. I'm just going to click somewhere on here in the center and just drag that out. So maybe about that big. Now I'm just going to left mouse click and drag to move that wherever I want. So I'm going to lower it down to about right. We'll just line it up with the top of the circle with that UV edge up there. Alright, so there we go. I'm going to press the enter button on my keyboard. Okay, so now we've got this circle selection that we can do stuff only on the inside. We can't do anything on the outside of it, but we can work on the inside of it. I want to cut the bottom of this off because we're going to color this in, but I want this to be rounded and then just cut straight across. So let's go ahead and do that by clicking on the square select tool up here. Where it says mode, I'm going to click on this third one, which is subtract from the current selection. It's kind of like doing a Boolean's difference. I'm also going to leave all this unchecked. So I'm going to click above this logo over here on one side and then drag and then let go. And you can see it just cut the bottom of that circle off just like we did a Boolean's inside Maya. I'm going to hit the enter button. Okay, so now that we've got this selection here, I'm going to go to my paint select tool. I'm going to change the color swatch, make it about 50%. Click OK. And now I'm just going to click inside there. So now if you look at this, if this is our transparency map, our logo is white. It's not transparent at all. All the area around on our door is kind of starting to get a little bit of gray, so it's a little bit transparent. This right here is even more gray, so it's even more transparent. Alright, so that done. Let's get rid of this selection now. I just click on this square selection. I'm just going to click one time to get rid of that. I'm going to hide the UV layer by clicking down here in the layers dialog box. The UV layers, there's an eye on the very far left. I'm just going to click that to turn that layer off. Alright, let's zoom out. Control and the mouse wheel. We can zoom out. That's our transparency map right there. So I'm going to do a file. Save as. I'm going to go ahead and save this as the native XCF file, GIMP. Just putting it right back into our images folder. Save. Replace it. Yes. Because all we did was just added a couple layers to it. Alright, I'm going to go up and save this also as our texture now. I'm going to go to our source images folder. And let's save this as DVD drawer transparency.jpg. Save, export, 100% quality, and save. Alright, so let's go back into Maya now and apply this and see what it's going to look like. Alright, I'm going to select the door, open the attribute editor, or you can go and do this in the Hypershade as well. If you do it in the Hypershade, just Windows, Rendering Editors, Hypershade. Alright, this is our DVD drawer body. This is the door. This is the pads. Oh, here's a door. This is our transparency right here. We called it the door. Alright, I'm going to select it. I'm going to go up here and click on the Input Connections button. Down here, here's our shaders, our file. We're going to use a different file for the transparency, so I'm going to go down here, click on the File button on the far left. Alright, I'm going to select this file here or double click to open up the attributes for it. Here's the image name field, it's blank. I'm going to click on the button with the folder on it. We can navigate. There's our transparency map that we created. Click open. Now we just need to attach this to our shader. So I'm going to middle mouse drag it onto our shader and I'm going to select transparency. Alright, if we do a render right now, I'm just going to minimize the Hypershade. If we render this out right now, let's right now we're just using a software. Let's go and do a render. It won't show the smooth preview, but at least we'll see the transparency. Okay, it actually shows transparency. I wasn't expecting it to show transparency unless we had luminance turned on. Looks like we've got a double logo going there, but everything looks really good there. It's kind of hard to see, so let's make the background a lighter color. So I'm going to click on this button, the camera attributes, or you can go to View, Camera Attribute Editor. I'm going to scroll down underneath the environment section. There's the background color. Do a render. Alright, so we can see a little better now. It really looks good except for our logo. And just in case yours wasn't transparent, here's our, I'm going to rename these files so I know which is which. So this one here, I'm going to right click on it, click rename, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to call this, this is our texture file. And I'm going to rename this bottom one to, say, transparency file. Alright, that way I just look and tell which is which. Alright, I'm going to select this transparency file, or you can just double click if you don't have the attributes open for it. Right down here underneath this node, if you don't see it, there's a 2D up here at the top, and there's the file node. Down here you'll see color balance, just expand that. And there is an alpha to luminance. So if you save this file out and you're rendering it out and you're not seeing any transparency, turn this alpha as luminance on, and that should fix it for you. But it seems to work for mine with that not checked. Let me just double check, make sure I saved it as a JPEG file. Source images, there's our transparency, and it's a JPEG. Alright, so that works good. But again, if it doesn't work for you, just turn this alpha's luminance on and then it should work fine. Okay, let's do let's fix this logo. We've got like a double logo thing going there. That's because our texture map UV map is the same on the back as it is on the front. And they're right on top of each other. So edit UVs, UV texture editor. And we can't really, let's see, how can I fix this? Alright, I think I'm just going to do this, and we'll readjust the colors if we need to. Right click, edge, so we're in edge select mode, or you can do it over here, just right click, go to edge. I'm going to select, doesn't matter which one of these edges, just double click on it, select all the way around. Polygons, cut UV edges. Or right click, UV, select one of the UVs, control right click to shell. Use my move tool, I'm just going to move that off. Okay, that's the front, because you can see the front's changing over at the left. This back, we don't want the logo on the back, so I'm trying to think the best way to do this. If I grab these bottom ones and move those up, it's going to mess up where that circle is. So I'm just going to select all of these. I'm going to shrink this down and just put it right there where that mostly transparency is, at 50% transparency. I know it's in here somewhere, so I'm just shrinking this down so it fits in there, and that way this whole back is going to be the same transparency, and we'll control that circle look by just the front. Alright, so we just need to move this back to where it was. Alright, so probably something about like that. Let's do a render and see what this is going to look like. Alright, so it looks like it's centered on there pretty good. Alright, so it's a little bit brighter now, so just to darken all this up a little bit more, which is what I want, I'm just going to go in and just darken everything up a little bit. So I'm going to close that out. Let's go back into GIMP. Now the correct way to have done that, the appropriate way, let me just, worth mentioning, is to have the front of that door and the back of that door, the UVs laid out separately, maybe side by side or above each other, and then having that pattern on both of them. That way both your sides are the same. I hope that makes sense. I think I confuse y'all a lot. Okay, let's continue on here. I just want to make everything darker. So I'm going to select, let's see, the transparent 50 and the transparent 25. Those two layers I'm going to make darker, so I'm going to select this one layer. I'm just going to go up to colors, brightness, contrast, and I'm just going to take the brightness and just make it darker. Whoops, wrong way. So maybe about that much darker. Click OK. Same with the other layer, the 25 transparency. Colors, brightness, take it down about the same. Okay, file, save as. Okay, it's still doing the same thing, JPEG, so I'm going to save, replace, export, 100% quality. Let's go back into Maya. Just going to select the door. We don't have to do a hypershade, you can just select the door. Up here at the top, if you go to the far right, you'll see the shader node. And there's our transparency. Far right, I'm going to click that button. There's our image name. There's our file. Again, if you don't see it, just look up here at the top, because sometimes you might see the 2D texture node depending on what you've been doing. So just make sure you have your transparency file node selected. I'm going to click on the reload button. And now let's do another render, and it should look a little better. Alright, so that's better. It's a little bit darker. And we've only got one logo now. And actually we can make this even more darker. It seems, oh, we went the wrong way. This is actually brighter. We went the wrong way. Alright, let's go fix that. Sorry about that. The brighter it is, the less transparency it is. That's what we want. So let's go back in, set our layer, brightness. Let's make that brighter. There we go. Same thing with the other layer, brightness. Let's kind of brighten that up. Maybe not quite so much. Whoops. Okay. File, save as. There we go. Replace. export, save, back into Maya, reload, and render. Alright, there we go. That's what we want right there. It's a lot darker. So that's it. Now we're just ready to do our render. So I'm going to go ahead and do a save. File, save scene as. This is going to be _9. And I'll see you in the next video where we'll actually render it out.